What is up, everybody? This is the ExtraNormal podcast, telling abnormal stories for these extra-normal times. My name is Chris. Alongside me is
Brianna Kaye.
In the flesh. Make sure, before I forget, again, I'm trying to remind myself, I'm trying to be a better person. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us on the social medias, give good ratings, all that stuff, right before you continue listening on to our stories. How are you, Brianna?
It's so funny you always ask me that because I never
You never think about it until now?
I never feel natural.
What?
Like talking about how I'm doing. I don't know why.
Huh.
Because it's usually one of those like stupid small talk things, no offense, that you're like, oh, how are you doing? And most of the time, even if you're like feeling like shit, you're like, oh yeah, I'm great and everything's great. We're good. Because you don't want to go into like, oh, this fucking happened today and
This fucker.
da. No one really gives a fuck.
Well, here's the difference.
You have to give a fuck.
I'm genuinely asking. How
Would
you doing. I don't want to hear about the weather. What do you want me to say? You want me to say like, hey, Brianna, you hear about the Muffin Man?
Today?
You ever hear about the Muffin Man? It's just not natural. When you say hello to someone, you ask how they're doing.
I would like
I'm
that.
a gentleman. I'm a gentleman.
I don't know the Muffin Man, though. Do you know?
I do. Well, I looked
you
into
know?
the Muffin Man because the reason why I'm dropping the Muffin Man's name is because tonight we're doing tales of the dark origins of nursery rhymes. We all know, we all sing the nursery rhymes. We all feel they're a little bit off, a little bit creepy, right? Especially the old-timey ones.
But man, when you're a kid, like you weren't thinking about that. You were just enjoying fucking Ring Around the Rosie.
That is correct. And before we move on, I have to, like, is it wise to pour cold water on an episode as it begins? But wait, I have to pour cold water on the Muffin Man.
Okay.
This was all triggered by a fucking falsity, I believe. Because we got a link, we got a story that was floating around TikTok. TikToks.
TikTok, you don't stop.
About the Muffin Man, the origin of the nursery rhyme, and the fact that it was from a serial killer in the 1800s.
And before we go further, I would like people to think about their opinion. And if you're watching us live, let us know what you guys think or have any idea of what the Muffin Man really, who he was and what he stood for. And, oh yes, continue.
But also, too, I just want to give we're going to throw out a prize. If you're listening live, you get a little bit of a sneak peek on a prize. We want you to give us, however you want to go, extranormalpodcast@gmail.com or through social medias, all the platforms that we're floating around. Give us your nursery rhyme for your death. Write your own nursery rhyme for your grisly
I like that.
death. And we're going to be giving out prize pending on that.
I want to do that.
You can do it, but you're not
can't
eligible.
win.
Friends and family. Well, friends are eligible,
My
I
boob
guess.
itches. Could it be about my boob itching?
Sure. But yeah, give us your nursery rhyme of your grisly demise and what that would sound like or look like. Or you don't have to sing it. You get spare us. If you can sing, then sing. If you can't sing, don't do that. Just tell us the rhyme. So the Muffin Man, right?
Yeah, right. Sorry.
The
What happened to you? You're gone.
I'm gone. I left. I was furious. The Muffin Man was a story we heard on TikTok, wherein they said the Muffin Man, the nursery rhyme, was originated from a cautionary tale for kids living in England about a Muffin Man who would come, and I keep freezing, but that's okay. We'll keep going.
You look great.
Videos is for the fools. Yeah, my nose looks really great in that shot. But they said it's supposedly there's a serial killer named something Linwood who would and the reason why I sound so blasé about his name that would I'll tell you why in a second. But he would draw kids in with muffins like fucking Hansel and Gretel, like breadcrumbs, and murder kids. And apparently the legend goes that he would also murder his bread rivals.
Oh my God.
He would apparently the legend goes
It's like a weird Sweeney Todd twist.
The legend goes is that he murdered 6 of his fellow bakers on Drury Lane, which is referenced in the song. And then when he had enough of that, when he thought he knocked out enough competition, Apparently, he also went on to kill children. It's very hard, just a cautionary for people looking into it, excited about this. It's very hard to find any actual fucking
proof.
Yeah.
So
it's an urban.
So is your theory? Oh, your theory is that it's not true.
It's an urban myth because it's very hard. If you look it up, you can't find. There's no records of his imprisonment. There's no records.
What year supposedly did the Muffin Man exist?
The reign of terror apparently was like 1837, around that area, around that time.
What area?
It was in London area, I believe, in England for sure. But they said that it's very hard to 16th century. Sorry, not 1800s.
Oh,
16th century.
Early.
Very early. And one of the other issues is that it doesn't crop up in text until 1820 is the first time.
Question.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to.
I want it to be real. For the record, I wish it was.
Okay,
I want it to be real so bad.
What if?
I don't want children to get murdered. I'm just saying. I take that back. But
what if?
What if?
What if?
What if?
Wait, London or no?
I think London. Let me verify.
What if he was Jack the Ripper? Was that the same era? Like the same time? I'm trying to think. What if it was around the same time?
You saying Jack the Ripper was a muffin maker?
There's potential because they never found Jack the Ripper, right?
No, they did not.
But
there's
they
theories
found
on
Muffin
who it
Boy.
could have been, but they never actually caught him in the time of his reign of terror.
I'm just saying.
So the 16th century
Makes you wonder.
I am officially the.
Are you gonna debunk that? Oh, fuck you.
Well, this one's easy to debunk. This one's because from 1888 to 1891 was when Jack the Ripper was floating around.
And you said Muffin. Can we just call him Muffin Boy?
We can call him Muffin Boy.
Muffin Boy was what, like 200 years prior?
16th century. So sometime in the mid, 1500s. Was when he was apparently floating around, and so the song doesn't really crop up until 1820s, at least when it's first written down. Could have very well been floating around before it was written down. So the Muffin Man it's floating. What am I jiggling? Am I jangling? It's a little bit of a TikTok urban legend.
Jiggle.
That is pretty unfounded. It was also showed up on a joke. Like there's a joke. It's called Uncyclopedia, which is just like the Onion version of Wikipedia. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna say the Muffin Man is a little bit of it's a spoof. It's a fake. So
the pictures of the guy that they
not real.
It's not a real person, or he was a real person.
It was a real person, but I think it was a photograph, right? That was, and there wasn't photographs.
So
back
can we hear the song then? And did they? Is there like
So I'm gonna read you the lyrics. Here's the full lyrics. Ready?
Okay.
It's pretty simple. Watch out. This is some Shakespeare shit right here. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man. The Muffin Man. Oh, do you know the Muffin Man who lives down Drury Lane? It should be Drury Lane. Anyways. Oh, yes, we know the Muffin Man. I think there's variations. The Muffin Man. The Muffin Man. Oh, yes, we know the Muffin Man who lives down Drury Lane. Oh, we all know the Muffin Man. The Muffin Man. The Muffin Man. Oh, we all know the Muffin Man who lives down Drury Lane. There's nothing about
like there's
chopping.
no
There's no ominous. There's no ashes to ashes.
That's pretty fucking
disappointing, right? I got excited
so disappointed.
When I heard that. Yeah, it's not true.
Yeah,
sorry, folks.
Somebody was probably just trying to get, because we saw that floating on TikTok. Somebody's probably just trying to strike up interest for everybody. I mean, it did for us, like until they obviously
TikTok
did research.
They say TikTok is.
You have to be careful because there's a lot of fake shit. You can learn a lot from TikTok. Look at you, tick a little talk, and me
tick a little talk and tick a little pop.
Anyways, moving right along. Pop. Is that all you have to say about the Muffin Man?
That's all I have to say about the Muffin Man. I wish I had more news on the Muffin Man, but
So I really wanted to dive into Ring Around the Rosie. I've always heard that it was kind of a sinister, like there's meanings behind it that I didn't really understand. And I think because I loved to play Ring Around the Rosie as a child and sing the song, I never really wanted to look into that because I thought, oh no, it's going to be so disappointing and sad. But I finally did. So I just wanted to kind of break it down for you guys. Ring Around the Rosie is referred to the Black Plague. Rosie rosies is a reference to the black sores that would appear on your body when you were affected by the disease. Your rosies is around the center of the back of your hand. And that's where like you would see the black sore from the Black Plague. A pocket full of posies is a reference to the people who would carry posy flowers around with them to smell, so they didn't have to smell the sickening smell of all the dead bodies everywhere. They had to, the ashes, we all fall down, is a reference to basically they had to burn all the bodies of everybody who was infected, because I guess even after death, you still could get sick from it. Or maybe that's what they thought, but that's, during my research, that's what it had said, which is like so fucking scary. Anything you want to touch on that before I?
Well, I mean, that's the kind of play around fucking like plagues and shit like that is insane. It's insane. But yeah, no, it's crazy. I don't know how to say words today.
And then I was like, well, while I was doing my research, I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, so I know about the plague, and during our pandemic, I wanted to like look into it and with other like plagues and things. Mm-hmm. But I was a little too scared. But now that we know it wasn't out of the pandemic,
it wasn't a plague.
The facts of the Black Death. So death
such
metal.
A metal name for.
So this is like crazy conspiracies, because I'm listening to all these facts and I'm like, so many like are similar, like how history really truly does like repeat itself. Mm-hmm. So facts about the Black Plague, Black Death. It started in China in the 1330s and spread as far north as England. The disease mainly affected rodents, but transmitted to humans from fleas.
Can we talk about how crazy that fucking is? Sorry to cut you off, but the fact that there's so many fucking rats. I know there's a lot of rats like all over the place here too. We shoo them away. We try to act like they're not around.
Not in our house.
Not in our house. But like the fact that there was so many fucking rats back then that they literally caused a fucking plague, because they were saying, I think they were saying it wasn't really airborne. Like you couldn't. The only way you could get it was from rats, and everybody was getting
from fleas.
From fleas that were on rats, and there were so many fucking fleas because it was so filthy back then.
And they didn't realize till 5 years when the plague finally is almost over.
Maybe we should get rid of these fucking rats.
Well, that the people that weren't really getting affected are the people that had cats. So all those cat haters, were saving lives.
Yeah.
Cats were saving lives back then.
Well, cats have always had, maybe that's another episode, but cats have always had a kind of a mystical and also a feared reputation throughout history. They were
feared, but not in Egypt.
Not in Egypt, but in Europe, they were very much like, they were very feared, I don't know.
Oh, those Europeans.
Oh, those Europeans.
So
hello to all European listeners.
In Europe alone, it is likely that from 1347 to 1352, the plague killed at least 20 million people.
Wow.
Or 1/3 of Europe's population.
And that's the thing. That's what I was going to say. 20 million back then was a lot of, it's a lot of people now, but comparative to like the world population, that's a lot of fucking people. Like
25 million people died in just under 5 years between 1347 and 1352. The plague caused the world's population to drop by at least 75 million people in the 4th century.
Wow.
The Black Death was one of the worst pandemics in human history. The Black Death finally lapsed in approximately 1350, and profound economic changes took place. This is where, like, I think from what I know, like, about saying like, oh, like our pandemic sucked ass, but it sounded like this one was
it was annoying.
Fucking
this was deadly and tragic. Ours was tragic to plenty of people.
And this sounds like next level tragedy because at least like, oh, we just had to stay in our houses, right? And we could have people deliver food and do like back then they had their own fucking crops and farms. And I just think of the devastation. Like it's just so different because we have such cushy lives. Like even if you're in like a 1-bedroom apartment, at least you have like most apartments have like heat and air, you know, like back then.
Not for that guy from Love is Blind. He didn't have air or heat or AC.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, going back, you know,
Love is Blind,
1300s, just so different. You know, we could sit and make dumb TikToks and still communicate with our family and loved ones. Back then,
they didn't have the weekend back
how
then.
The fuck are they sending mail to each other? Like it's just so many wonders of being alive back then. It's like I just wish somehow like you could go back and just really try to grasp and understand what these people really went through because it's really devastating.
Yeah, and the feeling of helplessness because we felt helpless. Many people felt helpless during the pandemic.
We were so scared.
But could you imagine that with a much more deadly virus with much less information?
Yeah.
Insanity. Like it just like at least we kind of understood, like we understand how viruses spread and we understand like how some mitigating factors that we can hopefully curb some stuff and we understand all that stuff and we have comfortable houses. They didn't understand what the fuck was going on basically. Like they had some knowledge of diseases, but they had no clue on how to stop it.
It's just crazy. Yeah, it's just wild.
Did you read the poem? Did you read it fully outright? Do you want me to pull it up?
If you want to. I was just breaking down like it's a very short one. I pretty much went through the entire.
Do you want to hear a more wholesome version of why they think? Let's read "Ring Around the Rosie" first. Ring around the Rosie. I don't know the lyrics. My shaking. Mm-hmm. So here we go. Here we go. Lyrics. So it is "Ring around the rose, ring around the rosies. Oh, rosies. Okay, sure, why not? A pocket full of posies, a tissue. What the fuck is this? This is not it.
That's not the one we used to sing
tissue.
as
A tissue. We all found. What the fuck is the fucking? Is that part of woke culture? I don't know.
The all fall down part.
Yeah.
That's a reference, which I'm like all, but when you fall down, it's basically saying like all the horrible people in the world are going to hell. So falling down is falling down to hell. But I'm like, we all fall down. You're saying we're basically all.
So this has been sanitized. I thought this was
No, I found it online.
Original, not the cover. Hold on. So it goes ring a ring of roses, a pocket full of posies, one for what the fuck? There's so many variations on this. This is upsetting me.
Maybe just over time. I mean, look how long ago that was.
God damn it.
Of course, it's going to be different.
Anyways,
that makes sense.
There's all kinds of fucking variations.
Mm-hmm.
There's light bread, sweet bread, squat. Oh, jeez. Do you want to hear a lighter theory on where that song originated from?
Sure.
Apparently, it was a whole Footloose scenario. What? There's theories that it originated of a folklorist by the name of Philip Hiscock. Fun name. Good job. Good job on that one. Mr. Hiscock. Oh my God. Said in the religious ban. So apparently, he posits that in the religious ban on dancing among the many Protestants in the 19th century in Britain, as well as here in North America, adolescents found a way around the dancing ban with what was called in the United States the play party. Play parties consisted of ring games which differed from square dancing, not that evil square dancing, only in their name and their lack of musical accompaniment. They were hugely popular and young children got into the act too. I'm going to sneeze.
God bless you.
Got it. I'm sick, everybody. That's why I have a sultrier voice than normal. Yeah, so apparently it might have also been...
so sick. So dramatic.
I'm just sick. I'm not deadly sick. I'm just sick. That's why I have a little bit of a muffle.
Don't know yet. Who Who's trying to go live?
I don't know.
No.
Somebody.
A no-no.
A no-no?
That's a no-no.
So yeah, it might have been a whole food. So what they did was they said, you can't dance during the Protestants. They were like, you cannot dance. So like, fuck it, we're going to dance, but we're just without music. So it's literally like those fucking, like when you see have you seen the videos of the headphone parties where the people have the raves where everybody's listening? That's what it was like. So there's theories that was the origin of that Ring of Rosies or whatever.
I think it was probably like an evolution of the song, of like the origin story of the song,
And I think also too, one thing that you have to what? Shut up.
Nice.
One thing, it's an advertisement. Again, well-oiled machine, everybody. We're fine-tuned. One thing people have to remember, too, with nursery rhymes is they take up all kinds of fucking myths. Like, they're reinterpreted. They get urban legends attached to them. They are, like we saw in this, they have creepy origins and they're sanitized a little bit. So nursery rhymes, figuring out the origins is very much a moving fucking target because we don't know where the origin, except for maybe we'll eventually when they discover our fucking nursery rhymes of our day, they'll be able to track the origins of Baby Shark.
I honestly think that this one was like pretty legit. Like it makes sense to me because like
some of the details add up and some of them don't, and it's a little bit
like the ashes to ashes is like all like obviously like that's already like, biblically that's like death, and so being these people having to have their bodies burned so they wouldn't contaminate anybody else, like that makes sense. The ring around the rosies, that makes sense to me because I'm sure like the wound from the Black Plague started off probably as like a sore like on the back of the hand, and then eventually like the blackness showed up, and then so I feel like definitely like to me I'm like that adds up. Like I could see that like coming together,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely some like that song, like Ashes to Ashes, like and the marks and all that stuff. It's like that variation.
And then the posies, keeping posies in your pockets because you're walking by all these dead bodies and you just want to like, again, like our crochet lifestyle. Like think about we have perfumes, we have so much more access. They had literally just fucking flowers that they had to like hold in their hand so they didn't smell like the rotting bodies and things like that. So, yeah.
So, another famous that's a good one. I appreciate that one. Another famous nursery rhyme is London. One of the most infamous ones is the London Bridge is falling down.
I'm excited about this one because I've heard a little bit also about this one, so I'm excited to hear deeper and darker.
Before we get deeper and darker into it, let's read what I don't think this has as many variations. London Bridge is falling down. A lot of these nursery rhymes are. Let's get creative, guys. Let's mix up the lyrics. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down.
Can you sing it?
My fair lady, take the key and lock her up, and lock her up, and lock her up. Take the key and lock her up, my fair lady. That's the only part I want to sing. How will we then build it up, build it up, build it up? This is a long-ass nursery rhyme. I didn't know any of this part.
No.
How will we then build it up, my fair lady? There's a lot of my fair ladies. Build it up with silver and gold, silver and gold, silver and gold. Build it up with silver and gold, my fair lady. Gold and silver, I have none, I have none. Oh my God, this is long. I have none. Gold and silver, I have none, my fair lady. Build it up with needles and pins, needles and pins, needles and pins. Build it up with needles and pins, my fair lady. Pins and needles bend and break, bend and break, bend and break. Pins and needles bend and break, my fair everybody lady. Build it. Oh my God, this is just an instruction manual at this point.
Anyways,
build it up with. No, I'm gonna finish this shit.
Fuck you.
Build it up with wood and clay, wood and clay, wood and clay. Build it up with wood and clay, my fair lady. Oh God. keeps going. Wood and clay will wash away, wash away, wash. I'm almost done. Hold on. Build it up with stones so strong, stones so strong, stones so strong. Build it up with stones so strong, my fair lady. Take it home, Chris. Stones so strong will last so long, last so long, last so long. Stones so strong will last so long, my fair lady. Was that song always that fucking long?
We never got
past like the first fucking verse. That is too much. Cut it down, okay? Cut it down, London Bridge. But one of the theories behind this, so there's a few theories. The most juiciest is there's belief that it involves child sacrifice. In that,
what?
During some building,
I didn't hear that.
During some building, they would believe that having actual humans in whatever construction would help, like would give that construction luck. So there's theories that it might entail.
Like, what do you mean? Like in the building? So they were like cemented in a building?
Yeah, they were encased.
When is the era? Like, when the origin?
You got a lot of questions I can't answer. You got a lot of nerve.
I looked up my questions era.
You got a lot of fucking nerve.
I'm just curious because I'm going back to my
Yeah.
What to do.
So there's variations. This is a different one. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down. My friend, off to prison you must go. You must go.
So I always heard, and I don't know if this is one of the theories that you heard, and if anybody wants to comment on our live or anywhere else, email us. I always thought it was talking about a war. Yeah,
so that's one of the prevalent theories. So 1657 is the first time they see it referenced in England.
Okay.
So that's, again, these are kind of spoken songs, so it doesn't mean someone wrote it down on paper in 1657 and all of a sudden it flew. It was probably floating around for a long time. But yeah, one of the theories is that it originated from 1064 when the Vikings invaded England. Olaf, which is a perfect Viking name.
Stop it. It does not say that.
Yeah. Olaf. It was King Olaf.
Please tell me that
Vikings.
There's a Christoph too.
There's probably a Christoph floating around there. Yeah, so they think it might have originated from that in 1064 at the hands of Olaf II of Norway. And he destroyed the bridge. Spoiler alert, a lot of people fucking died. So they think that might be, because obviously it's about a fucking falling bridge. And there's also theories that it might be about fires that happened. But, obviously there's a lot of tragedy because the Vikings were pretty fucking brutal when they came through town. They weren't soft-handed for sure. So, and one of the things that kind of strikes so many people's fascination is the "take the key and lock her up" phrase. Mm-hmm. And "my fair lady," what the fuck does that mean? Like,
and why do they keep talking about "my fair lady"? And a fair lady could mean that she was young. Fair, right? Would be in her prime.
Yeah.
She was white, probably British. If this originated,
she was probably from England. If it took place in England,
unless she was a Viking,
she might have been a Viking. But why would she build? She'd tear it down. If you're a Viking, tear that shit down.
I'm so curious.
I want to know about the human sacrifice, and it fascinates me about the fact that.
So yeah, tell us more about that.
Human well, there's that's the flimsiest of theories, but the fact that there was enough of that going around that can be posited as a theory is fucking nightmarish. Because then you could be driving past an old timey bridge, and there's like humans and remains of children because it was a good luck charm. Just buy a fucking rabbit's foot. Like, why do you need to kill children for that?
Rabbits either.
Okay, so are you on record saying if it were rabbit or children?
Either.
Okay, I just want to get you on record.
Either.
Okay, so just for the record.
Don't hurt the animals and don't hurt the humans.
You're okay with human sacrifice,
unless they're very
but no
bad
animals.
Humans. They're not children.
Yeah, so that's London Bridge is falling. So clearly we played it as a kid. It's either, best case scenario, it's about a brutal Viking attack that murdered innocent people. Of the evening.
Okay, so you debunked that London Bridge song, but what about Fergie's? Can you please debunk Fergie's London Bridge song? Is she talking about her pants?
Is that what that song is about?
How come every time you come around my London Bridge is going down like London? She's talking about her pants coming down?
What is London Bridge?
Or is she talking about like her morals?
Is she talking about like her emotional walls? Like it's. I'm gonna take it as a romantic song where Fergie is talking about how she puts up so many barriers in her life, and finally,
I don't know about all that.
This gentleman comes along, and she can finally break down her barriers and fuck the shit out of him. I'm guessing.
Let's be real. She's talking about her pants coming off.
Probably.
That's probably.
Thanks, Fergie.
I debunked it.
Hey, we all figured it out.
So are they saying that basically the London Bridge was built with bones?
Not with it was. It's not a bone bridge. Like it has human
bone.
Kind of like how like
the one in China,
Great Wall in
right?
China.
Yeah.
It definitely has human remains.
Yeah, it happened
for sure.
But
it's not a bone wall, but it's like there's some bone in there. It's like when you go to like
where is this? Is this bridge like where is it in London? Let's look it up. I think that's a really good question. I think a lot of people would want to know because I know the next time that I go to England, I would really like to see that. And try to dissect it to see if I could see any bones.
I think it's right. It's obviously along the Thames.
There's so many.
The River Thames. There it is. It looks so fucking boring.
It's not what it used to look like. So
what did it used to, I'm sure it was a variation on that.
It did not look like that. That looks way too modern.
You're thinking of this one. Is that the London Bridge?
That's the one I was thinking of. I was thinking something very vintage.
I think it's just old. I think it's
Victorian.
Not fancy. It's just old. Is that the London Bridge?
I would love to go.
Oh, here's what it looked like back then. Look at that.
Let me see.
A few bones and a few houses.
Oh, you definitely need to post that.
I'll post it.
That's fucking cool.
Old medieval London Bridge. There's some bones.
Well, it makes you wonder too, like not to disrupt because I love like all my witchy friends and stuff out there, but there were certain.
I consider myself a witchy woman.
Good for you.
Thank you.
I'm happy for you.
I'm happy for myself.
But there were human sacrifices for different religions.
Sure.
And for certain types of witchcraft that was out there. So maybe was there a big pagan population or
no,
they
for
were
a time during England, yeah, for sure they were. But at that time, they were not. What is the well, maybe in 1064 they were.
The Druids.
Yes.
The Druids are the one that still actually go back to the
Stonehenge.
The Stonehenge every year. Yeah. My dream place that I want to go to. So mystical. That's like definitely. Oh, and also, did you guys know that there's a Stonehenge? Well, it's like Stonehenge, but it's all like it replicates it in also in Scotland.
There's a lot of henges.
That's one
I went to the one in America that was like a wood henge.
Are you serious?
That's a disappearing.
I did hear that there is actually one in America also.
Where
the fuck is that one?
It is in Illinois. But the Cahokia tribe, they built a wood henge and they fucking disappeared. We don't know what happened to them.
Oh, they fucking time traveled.
What?
I believe it.
Because they built some wooden stakes? You think that's a pretty big leap.
They disappeared. Where did they go?
They built wooden stakes. They had to time travel. What do you mean? They just disappeared. Civilizations disappear. I don't know if Cahokia is the same. I'm just saying, until we talk about, maybe we'll have an episode on that, but until we talk about it and discover the evidence, let's not jump to that conclusion.
Sorry,
maybe we'll get there.
It's just,
maybe we'll
I
get there
watched too
together.
much Outlander.
Yeah, we'll get there together. But let's wait till we research it before
Sing
they
me
must
a song.
Anyways. Hey, did you know Three Blind Mice is about murder? Did you know that?
No. I thought it was about a mouse that was blind.
So Queen Mary the First. Queen Mary the First of England, also known as, do you know?
Queen Mary?
Queen Mary the First was also known as
the boat?
She was not known as the boat. No, that wasn't her nickname.
The ship.
That's probably a football player somewhere.
The Queen Mary.
Yeah, there's a boat called the Queen Mary.
Named after her.
But what was Queen Mary the First?
What was she? A female.
Cahokia. Time travel. Reset. Queen Mary the First of England. Okay.
Yes.
Stay on target. Stay on target.
Lizard people.
Fucking A, stop.
Damn it.
Just stop. I'll give you a clue. Queen Mary the First of England was born or reigned from 1553 to 1558. So there wasn't a Queen Mary ship that's ported in London now. What was her nickname? She was also known as AKA
Elizabeth.
No, she wasn't Queen Mary, also known as Elizabeth. God damn it. She was
I don't-
Bloody Mary.
Why the fuck would I know that?
Because you like that kind of shit, right?
I didn't know that. Is that really?
The Queen Mary, Bloody Mary was Queen Mary the First of England. She was
What?
known Bloody Mary because she was known as Bloody Mary because she was fucking gruesome. She was tough.
I didn't
So let's
know
go over both
this.
because
yes, this
she
is
is
interesting.
she is part of two,
I shook at
allegedly
that
part
too.
of two nursery rhymes. The first one I don't know. Do you know Mary Mary Quite Contrary? You know that one?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
I was like, I don't know what this is.
Was it along came a spider? Is it cider by cider?
No, well, let's look up the nursery rhyme.
I
This
know,
episode
yeah.
is
My
Chris and
grandma-
Brianna look up nursery rhymes.
I think it's interesting.
Mary, I think it's very interesting, but I'm being a little.
But the most interesting thing is this cat.
Okay, here, ready?
Ready.
The oldest known version was first published in 1744, and it went something like this: Mistress Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow with silver bells and cocky shells? What? His cock. And my garden grows. So my garden grows.
Cockroach.
And another version, just to give you some context. Okay, this is Mistress. This is a fucking children's nursery rhyme. Mistress Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? I think that's like. I think they're talking about fucking pubic hair. I think it's silver bells and cocky shells. Sing cuckolds all in a row. Do you know what a cuckold is?
Mm-mm.
You don't know what a cuckold is?
What the fuck's a cuckold?
It's someone who likes like their partner to like explore other people, and they like the fact that they're like getting down. So
You learn something new every day.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
So that's Mary, quite contrary.
Mm-hmm.
And this apparently contrary, and then this is according to Mental Floss for the record. Contrary is one way to describe a murderous psychopath. I didn't know that. So Jeffrey Dahmer was a contrary, apparently. This popular English nursery rhyme, which reads like a solicitation for gardening advice, is actually, according to many, a recounting of the homicidal nature of Queen Mary the First of England, a.k.a. Bloody Mary. She kind of earned that nickname. She was fierce. A fierce believer in Catholicism, her reign as queen from 1553 to 1558 was marked by the execution of hundreds of Protestants. Silver bells and cocky shells in this understanding are actually torture devices, not garden accoutrements.
Okay,
so,
question.
This was about the Mary.
Her nickname was
murder.
Bloody Mary.
Yes.
But is she the one that we see in the mirror when we play the game?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That old English.
That's where I was going to be like, whoa.
I don't think so. We did an episode about Bloody Mary. We should look back into that.
I was going to say, I don't remember.
I don't remember that shit. I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
No, not even that. I don't remember them saying anything about her being a part of that.
So let's read it again with that context, right? Mm-hmm. So this is something that children sing, right? Apparently you sing it. I didn't sing it.
Yeah.
Mistress Mary, so Mary, Queen of England, quite contrary. So quite, let's replace the words. Mistress Mary, quite murderous. How does your garden grow? With silver bells and cocky shells, which are both torture devices. And so my garden grows. So basically, I guess she's saying that the people she murdered are fertilizer at this point. Ooh. Yeah. It's crazy. And that's almost crazier than fucking London Bridge. Like, that's some sinister ass shit. Like, kids are singing. And it, like,
but like even like when we're watching old movies, like one of my favorite movies, that you always fall asleep to is Meet Me in St. Louis.
Just the name alone.
And I mean, the kids, like even like looking back on like how they used to celebrate Halloween.
Oh, they were fucked up during
Yeah,
Halloween.
like so
it was like terrorism, like child terrorism.
Right, and that was okay and that was accepted. So these like morbid like nursery rhymes like make sense because I mean, like I think our humor has changed and I think me and you both are at fault. You know, we're very protective of our child and what she sees and monitoring all that. And I think back then it was just like, it's fucking how the world was.
Die,
yeah.
either for the plague
I mean, for sure, if you lived through the fucking plague, it's just like, fuck it. Those kids fucking had to grow up. So you had to make jokes about death and shit like that. Cause whatever.
It was what they call gallows humor, where you joke, you know, I laugh so as not to cry kind of fucking mentality, like that kind of shit. You've heard of Three Blind Mice. That's one I do recognize. Three Blind Mice. I mean, everybody's heard of Three blind mice. See how they run. See how they run. They all run after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. This alone is fucking. Hey, what are we having our children? Anyways, let's go back to Baby Shark. Did you ever see such a sight in your life as three blind mice without tails, apparently? Three blind mice. See how they run. They all run after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Did you ever see such a sight in your life as three blind mice? Three blind mice. See how they run. They all run after the farmer's wife. Again, guys, we got to work on expanding out our lyrics. I'm just saying. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Did you ever see such a sight in your life as three blind mice? So again, according to Mental Floss, Three Blind Mice is supposedly yet another ode to Bloody Mary's reign, with the trio in question believed to be a group of Protestant bishops, Hugh Latimer, Nicholas Radley, and the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Cranmer, who, unsuccessfully obviously, clearly, conspired to overthrow the Queen and were burned at the stake for their heresy. So, the critics suggest that the blindness in the title refers to their religious belief. So they were blind to Catholicism before Catholicism was blind to child abuse. Goes both ways, guys. So apparently they were burned at the stake because they tried to. Because famously, Queen Mary was fucking her dad. I think her dad. If I remember the story, I might be butchering, but her dad became Protestant because he wanted. It was Henry, right, or grandpa or whatever. He made England Protestant because he wanted to be able to have new wives without having to fucking the inconvenience of murdering them, right? Because Catholicism, you couldn't divorce, right? You couldn't leave your wife. So he's like, fuck, I'm going to be Protestant because I'm just kind of over killing my wives. Like, he didn't have this big more, but he was just over. And Queen Mary, reinstalled Catholicism. And she's like, I'm going to fucking do it with a fucking bloody hand. And like, anybody who tries to question me is going down. Mm-hmm. So Three Blind Mice is basically about the thing that children is basically about priests burning alive. So next time you sing that, we're past the point. But for context, we're past the point of nursery rhymes to our kid. But she would give us an evil eye if we started singing nursery rhymes to her at this point. But
yeah, I don't even think they'd. I know that they still do some of the nursery rhyme stuff. Maybe when they're playing hopscotch or when they're doing jump rope, because I know there are some things that I'm like, oh, I remember that one, So that which makes me wonder, about them actually doing that, when they're playing, jump rope, if any of those are old,
they're probably all creepy. They're probably all. I did do in my research. I did see something about the idea. Someone was talking about the idea of subverted innocence, and that it's that theory that we the children's stuff is in some ways is twisted, and when you look behind it, it's as they described it, it's like the Chucky rule, right? Mm-hmm. This innocent doll that turns murderous, and so these nursery rhymes have that layer of subverted innocence, where you sing it and then you start thinking about even on the surface. This is literally if you take Three Blind Mice on, it's just surface level. It's about some farmer's wife just chopping off the tails of blind mice. It's fucking batshit. Why? Why? It doesn't make a lot of sense, but here we are singing these songs to our children. Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. And there's obviously a bunch. I found a couple that were they were bad because they had very racist connotations. Like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Apparently, the tiger used to be a different phrase that is like bad. Like it's like KKK level. Like the tiger was eventually replaced, but eeny, miny, mo originated from someone else was going to grab you.
We used tiger when we used to say it.
Yes, for the record, we used tiger by this. We were clearly.
What was the other word?
Let's look at the origins. It was a
This
racial
one's
epithet.
new. Like I hadn't heard this one.
So the racist origins of eeny, meeny, miny, mo. It's going to be hard to find the actual original phrase because they're going to say a racial epithet or something like that. They're not going to say like this is the word because it was. Oh yeah, no. There's old text with the word. It's the infamous N word that it originated from.
Oh my gosh!
And this is from
KKKs were the ones who.
I mean, it was KKK was formed out of. It looks like this is from 1880, and they weren't formed until after the Civil War. So it's just from. It might be KKK or it might be generic racists.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a completely different.
I never knew that.
Yeah. So as you're singing that, like the origins are just just these are just so fucked up. Like along with Baba Black Sheep apparently is a euphemism for slavery. That's another thing. That's another one with completely racist origins that so many you could look up go on YouTube right now and you can find cute little songs about Baba Black Sheep or eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
I'm sure, like...
Obviously, they're not going to give kids the context of what that is, but it's crazy that we just... Especially with how dumb these songs are, right?
Yeah.
They're objectively dumb. Why don't we just scrap Baba Black Sheep? Just scrap it. It's fine. It's not good. If we're good, we could change it up.
It's really lame.
It's dumb.
With.
So let's just get rid of it.
No, that's very actually...
There should be a dumb rule. If something's super dumb, like it's not even worth it. Like it's just not worth it.
I'm still like, wow, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That's...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I shattered your world.
I mean, it's just things that we would say as kids, you know? Like...
Yeah.
It's just... I wonder, like, if, like, our grandparents knew... The origin, like, knew it and just, you know?
We're slightly okay with it.
Yeah.
That's the scary part.
Or they were there for the transition of the changing of the words, you know?
Yeah, when did that change? Like, what was the process on changing that? Like, maybe we shouldn't, like...
Say that.
Because that word was dropped fairly freely, like, up until fairly recently. Like, it still is, like, by awful people, it's still dropped. But I'm saying, like... If you were in a group of like white people, you could say that and not get like punched.
But now,
fairly recently, like it's sad how recently in the grand context. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like now, like you say that and you're like, people are like, what the fuck is your problem?
Yeah.
In the 60s, if you were among some circles, you could totally say it and they would laugh and giggle and shit like that. Like that. So I don't know when it was changed. Obviously, it was probably changed a little earlier than later for kids' purposes. But even then, like I'm sure kids dropped that phrase because they heard it from mommy and daddy. Like
for sure,
it's crazy.
So sad.
I'm gonna make you sad all over again because.
Oh no, there's more.
No. I just a quick transition. I have to tell you this before we move on because I want to bring the hard news to you.
Oh no.
I thought of it, and I had to tell you because it's in my mind before I start tearing up. Amu Haji, the man who hadn't showered in 60 years.
Showered.
He didn't shower. He passed away. He's left this world unshowered, and now he's not bathing in heaven or whatever he believed in.
I bet you they washed his body when he died.
Do you think they washed his body?
Yeah.
I don't think they did.
Wait, how did he die?
He was old. He was 94. So listen, he was 94. Great long life. That is a testament to not showering. I might not shower. for the rest of my life. Is that okay? You want me to live a nice, long life, right?
I'm going to go on record and say I'm okay with you not showering every day.
No, for how?
Because when you think about going backwards, we're talking about all these different.
Do you want me to
People
die?
didn't shower every day 200 years ago.
Do you want me to die?
No, why does that?
Well, because he lasted for 94 long years because he didn't shower.
No,
and I want to last that long.
Went a lot longer.
Oh, you're saying you could have made it to like 100 if he would have taken a shower every once in a while?
That extra 5 years, man.
He shaved off because he didn't shower. But also, too, he shaved off a lot of time. Because showering, if you take a 10-minute shower, 15-minute shower every day, every other day, that's a lot of time. So maybe he was wise. Maybe he lost a year or two of his life, but he saved so much time not showering.
Oh, my God.
So much time.
No.
I'm just saying. Maybe he had it all right all along. Well, this has been an episode of ExtraNormal Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at ExtraNormalP. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at ExtraNormal Podcast. You can email us, extranormalpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you get in your nursery rhyme for your sudden or slow demise. Whenever you think that's going to happen, make sure you write your little poem. Please don't make it racist like the other ones. You can make it about Queen Mary if you want somehow, but please don't make it racist. That's our only caveat. And thanks for listening.